You are in for a true treat. The wittiest, most intelligent content creator on YouTube. Always calm and polite. Here is the ineffable Muckster.
Hello, people. I know you won't be seeing this till later, but it's actually 3:30 a.m. on a Saturday, which is, of course, the best time to be having deep philosophical thoughts. And I know I've talked to people about this before, but never really in a separate video. And, just doing this on a whim. So it's going to be a little rambly probably. But, if you know me because of knowing Finkel and you watch his channel, rambling won't bother you too much. Anyway, so something got me thinking about the afterlife. And in case you don't know, as I mentioned to Finkel the other day, he asked me if I was an atheist or an agnostic. And I think I'm an atheist, but I usually say agnostic just because I am not enough of a narcissist to think that I'm always right. So, maybe there is a God. If there is, I don't think he has any at all connection to the Judeo-Christian image of God, but that's beside the point. But people automatically assume if you don't believe in God, you don't believe in the afterlife. And that's not necessarily true. There could be something. I got to put the shades on because my future is just that bright. Anyway, my thing about the afterlife is I'm curious. Now, as I always tell people when we're on this subject, I am in no way in a hurry to die. I know I probably don't have any more than, 40 or 50 years left. There's still things left to do. J-Law, our time is coming. But yeah, I'm in no hurry to die, but if, hey there, Vestige. I guess I set this wrong. I thought it wasn't going to come out till tomorrow, but that's okay. How you doing? I don't know what part of Canada you live in, but it's still kind of late. Anyway, what was I saying? There you go. You interrupted me. Oh, but yeah, I'm curious about what happens after you die, but I'm in no hurry. I'm certainly not suicidal. But on the other hand, I think if I died tomorrow, it'd be okay because I probably wouldn't know. But on the other hand, if there is something that comes along afterwards, I'm really curious to see what it is. I'm thinking there might be one of those deals where, like, you sort of go off and just become part of the universe. But, would you still have any consciousness? I don't know. Really, as I'm talking about this, I think it'd be interesting to do a panel discussion on the subject and see what other people think. um, people with some intelligent thoughts, which of course would leave out our resident faux Christian toddler. You know, I wouldn't be interested in people to just come in and go, well, you go to heaven or you go to hell. That's not interesting at all. But maybe some people believe in reincarnation. Some you come back as another person, your soul inhabits another person. I definitely know people that um, believe that like their child or grandchild is the reincarnation of somebody else in the family. Some people think you might come back as a toad. Vestige said she was brought back to life. Let's see. I died once. It was very warm. They brought me back to life. Now, see, that's somebody, if we did a panel discussion, I'd love to have join in and talk about that sort of thing. Although I don't think I've ever seen Vestige join a panel, so she might not be interested in that. But anyway, yeah. If you watch this and you think it might be interesting to do a panel discussion, let me know. Make a comment, whatever. You could do it here, do it over on Finkel's, get a bigger audience. And if you just, Listen said she wishes she could join for that. But if we do it, you can always make comments from the chat like you're doing now. And if anybody has anything to say about it, you can comment on this video after you watch it. Like I say, it's a subject I find interesting. I'm curious. What exactly does happen? I don't believe in harps and angels or any of that sort of thing, but I like to think there's something. Vestige says it took her 3 years after her stroke to teach herself to type again. And she's still not able to talk well, I guess. So, yeah. By the way, do you guys know Vestige? Vestige of Peace. Everybody that watches this, that's Vestige. Vestige. That's everybody else that watches this later. Talk amongst yourselves. I totally going off the subject now. I'm not sure, but I kind of have a feeling. See, I don't remember stuff like this too well. I think me and Vestige might have had a rocky start to our relationship. I think maybe she was on the other side of discussions with other channels or something. I'm not sure, but we kind of got to know each other and decided to be friends. It's like I say, I don't remember that stuff well. I don't know. I don't know if it's common or it's just me. I think maybe it's not so common just because of the experiences I've had with people, but I very often I can have a huge disagreement with somebody and then totally forget about it. There are certain grievances I can hold on to, especially if somebody keeps renewing the grievance for whatever reason. I tend to hold on to things people did against family or friends longer than I hold on to anything that's happened with me. I've actually had the experience where somebody will say to me, you know what? I'm really sorry about what happened about between us. I realized later that you're not quite the asshole I thought you were, or whatever they say. And I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And I'm being totally honest. I just totally forget that stuff a lot of the times. Um, uh, See now, Vestige, she's ruined it because she's lying. She says she likes me very much now. Oh yeah, was that you earlier? No, I don't think. No, it was somebody else over in Hill Pirates tonight that said they walk with a walker. But I remember it wasn't you because I was thinking, oh, I don't see Vestige tonight. Um, but she said she likes me, but she finds me boring. Um, anyway, like I was saying though, yeah, just to finish that part off, believe it or not, I don't really hold a lot of grudges. I don't remember them. Uh, but back to the original thing, the afterlife and so forth, be an interesting discussion. We can find half intelligent people to talk about it. I know if we put something together, I'm sure once Finkel gets to be a little more comfortable talking, I'm not sure he'd be in for any long discussions right now, but he'd probably be one that would be interested in something like that. And some other people, maybe Ariel, I'm sure he's got some weird ideas about it. But anybody else out there? So yeah, it's really not what I planned on saying when I started this, especially since, like I said, it's now just about 3:45 a.m. here. So as the night gets longer, I think a little less clearly. But I just came in just to talk. Yeah, me too, Vestige. I hope he gets better soon. I guess it's kind of a long process, though. Um, but Henway, what's a Henway, you ask? Usually 3 to 5 pounds. Um, old, old joke. I think I first heard that on Laugh-In. And if you're old enough to know Laugh-In, you're one of me. Anyway, I would say it's late and I should go to bed, but I won't go to bed. I'll close this down and I'll go back to watching the TV show I've been watching, which is a TV show I already watched some time ago. Uh, See, Vestige remembers Laughing. That was a great show. It was just all like weird, off the wall kind of humor, and that's the best kind. The the best ever, and I will fight anybody who disagrees with this. The best ever off the wall humor. I can't think of the word I really want. Absurd humor of all time. Monty Python. I mean, they were just, self-defense against a banana. It's like stuff that just because that's the kind of stuff me and my friends used to say. Maybe that was kind of a generational thing, but I think they kind of helped spawn a lot of that sort of stuff, like the airplane movies. The, what was the? Does anybody here speak jive? And here comes Mrs. Cleaver. I speak jive. Now listen here, homeboys, or whatever it was. Um, Now you see, now Vestige loves Monty Python. I was never a big Benny Hill fan. I'm not a big fan of slapstick. I like absurd, but Benny Hill just wasn't. But I know, I mean, I won't say any that it's bad because millions of people love Benny Hill. I know I ran into Benny Hill about the same time as Monty Python because they were both on PBS over here. You know, they were like, I think they might have been repeated. You had Benny Hill, Monty Python, and God, I can't think of it. So you're going to think I'm stupid when I tell you what it is that I'm trying to remember the name of. But you know, the guy, the time guy who flies around in the TARDIS, the the telephone box. They were all sort of like PBS over. Well, maybe it was just the PBS station I had in Pittsburgh. They all had them at like the same time. Yeah, the Dead Parrot. And Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Again, you you'll know I was born in the 1800s when I tell you I saw Monty Python and the Holy Grail when I was in college, and that's when it was first run in the theater. Um, but with that Killer Rabbit or the Knights Who Say Me. Um, that one, what did they call him? I don't think he was the Black Knight. What was he? The guy where he cut off one arm. And he's I can still fight, and ends up cutting off his arm and both his legs. He's like, "Come back here, I'll bite your knees" or whatever. I mean, that stuff is just ridiculous, but they do it right. You know? Yeah, see, I got you beat there, Vestige. She's just a kid. She's only 62. Um, but yeah, it's like, there's a lot of movies that try to be absurd like that, and they miss it, and they're just stupid. And well, I'll tell you, there's a couple of very popular comic actors who I don't like at all. But that's what's that? What's that have to do with talking about the afterlife? What is it with you people? Jeez. What the, yeah, they missed the mark. Yeah, 1970. Or how about she turned a man into a newt? Or he got better. Or one of my favorites was the bring out your dead, bring out your dead. I'm not dead. He says he's not dead. You can't believe him. Um, you know, I found out afterwards. You know how they're going across the field, pretending to riding horses, and you got the servants behind them clacking the coconut shells together to make the cluck 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 of the horse. They came up with that because their budget was so low they couldn't afford horses. So I mean that little thing there just made the whole movie so much better, and that even added to that whole. Oh, where did you get coconuts? I don't know. Maybe a sparrow flew them in. What's the wind speed of an African sparrow? Told you I was going to be rambling. Okay. Maybe Monty Python will be in the afterlife. Life of Brian was also really good. And of course, we talk about Life of Brian, man. Always look on the bright side of life. Do 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 do. I remember I shared that song on Facebook like a couple of years ago, and apparently my sister had never watched that movie or heard that song because she was liking it, and then you got to the "Always look on the bright side of death," and she was like, "Whoa, that got dark." Oh yeah, George Carlin was a great one for that kind of comedy. I remember him doing things like when he'd do like a news guy. Well, he did the hippy dippy weatherman. But he'd also do the news. I remember one time him reading the news, and he said there was a freak accident on the 101. A van full of freaks ran into a carload of freaks. Kind of bothers me how much now people are always using George Carlin, like on Facebook. Now, sometimes they'll use his clips, which is okay, but then other times they'll have like a quote, and at the end it'll say George Carlin. And a lot of times I think the quotes are made up, and they just put his name on, so people go, "Oh yeah, George Carlin. He really he knew what was happening," just to make their own point. I always remember what Ben Franklin said. You can only trust half the things you see on the internet and question the other half. Do, 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 do. Always looking. Anyway, so I guess I've run out of talk. Have a good weekend, Vestige buddy. And anybody else that watches this, if you think a serious discussion about the afterlife and so forth is a good idea, let me know. We'll try to put something together. Of course, I don't know. Last time me and Finkel tried doing a serious discussion was on alcoholism. I remember Finkel spent like a couple of weeks arranging all sorts of TV clips and stuff, and we didn't get much of a turnout. Oh no, Vestige, I totally believe you. I totally think of us as buddies now. I'll tell you, one of the ways you can tell that I think of you as a friend is if I make fun of you. On the other hand, one of the ways you can tell that I don't like you is if I make fun of you. So it's always kind of but it's like off on another thing, but it's another problem I've had pretty much my whole life. Um, I kind of grew up. We were all like I said, kind of the Monty Python generation, and we were. I remember like in junior high, which is now called middle school and high school, we were all like insult comics, you know, stupid things. Then like, oh hey, I like your new shirt. That looks like the one that my mom donated to Goodwill, or just something like that. Just making fun of people. It was like always, if you made fun of somebody saying, something about their big nose, they probably didn't have a big nose. It was always, and now it's like, boy, people can't handle that kind of thing. But also, like I say, now Monty Python, that came along when I was in college, but like also in high school, one of our biggies was Cheech and Chong. which was a different sort of absurd humor. But that's kind of where I come from. Well, also, I mean, it's my family. Always said my family has oh God, I just lost the word again. 4 a.m. Uh, but we have this gene for like sarcasm. That's what I wanted. And you'll even see it, man. You know, I got these nieces and nephews now who like the youngest one now is like 6, and you'll see it like even with them being like really sarcastic. I always remember my one nephew who's like 40 now, but he was in elementary, and the other kids used to always get mad at him because they didn't understand him making like sarcastic jokes. But that's just like that was us, you know. I have no idea if I'm even making any sense anymore. I think I think the thing to take from all of this is if there's an afterlife, it's sarcastic. Yeah, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Um, and we also know if there is a God, and God is the one who creates people, he has a sense of humor. Because look at Todd. God created the world and then he laughed and he laughed and he laughed. Yeah, well, I'll tell you, if there is a heaven, the way the Judeo Christians think there is, if I get a chance before they say, oh, you're at the wrong gate, I'm going to have some things to talk about with that God. Things, you know, like little children with leukemia, you know? Explain that to me, you stupid motherfucker. Anyway, I'll see you later, Vestige. I am definitely getting out of here now. Hasta la vista, everybody. Geez, I went almost a half an hour for my quick little talk about the afterlife. Good night to you.
And that's the way it is.
Well, that was disappointing.